Hello everybody, so for today, we will be discussing the adjusting entries for our example problem, which is landing on new travel services company. So in any case that you are still not downloading Handout 012, the link is provided in our description box. But this is just a mere continuation of our example for the whole accounting process, and we will now be preparing the adjusting entries which is related to our company, example company, which is landing on new travel services company. Okay, so in handout 012 or in handout 12, you will come across this page, which is the summary of adjustments for the end of the month of the period. Again, remember that we prepare adjusting entries so that we will be able to update account balances of assets, liabilities, revenues, and expenses before we prepare financial reports or financial statements. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 adjustments that we need to take into consideration. Okay, so in this lesson, I will be presenting to you the required adjustment needed, and then also the original transaction which is related to that adjustment, and then what was the initial entry that we made so that we will be able to properly analyze the adjusting entry that we need to do. And then we will be doing also the analysis, and finally the main adjusting entry that we need to do for that certain transaction. Okay, so let's start. So the first required adjustment is the interest accrued for the note payable for 1 month. So for us to be able to understand what really happened, let's go back to the original transaction. So in the original transaction, the company made a bank borrowing amounting to 100,000, and then kapag ka daw binayaran natin after 1 year, meron daw pong 12% interest kapag nagbayad na po tayo ng principal amount. Okay. So that time, nung nag-grant po yung bank borrowing nung company, the entry made was debit to cash of 100,000. And then we have credit notes payable, which represents a liability also of 100,000. So our analysis there would be, yung 100,000 note payable natin ay merong nakapatong na 12% interest kapag kababayaran na natin siya at the end of the year. At the end nung 1-year term nung note payable. Yun nga lang, sabi ko nga sa inyo, di ba, hindi pwede na i-record lang natin yung interest expense kung kailan lang tayo magbabayad ng interest kasi magkakaroon tayo ng violation sa timeliness. So, dahil magre-report na tayo ng financial reports for 1 month para dun sa company, 100,000 na note payable times 12% na interest times 1/12 or 1 month over 12 months, kailangan na nating mag-recognize ng interest expense and interest payable na 1,000. So, our adjusting entry for this will be debit interest expense of 1,000 and credit interest payable of 1,000. So, that is our adjusting entry for letter A. Let's continue. Second required adjustment is we need to record the depreciation of our automobile, which has a 10-year useful life, 100,000 pesos ang estimated residual value kada vehicle. So take note na yung estimated residual value natin ay kada vehicle. So ita times 2 natin siya kasi dalawa yung binili natin na van. Okay, if you would remember. Now let's go back to the original transaction. The original transaction gives you na bumili ng 2 unit ng 15-seater shuttle van amounting to 1,600,000 on account. Kaya that time, ang naging entry natin is debit automobile for 3,200,000 and then credit accounts payable for 3,200,000. So this will be our analysis. We will be using the formula for straight line depreciation. Asset cost of 3,200,000 minus residual value 100,000 kada isang vehicle, dalawa yun, so 200,000. So 3,200,000 minus 200,000 gives us 3 million pesos depreciable amount divided by 10 years, which gives us 300,000 annual depreciation. However, ang nire-report lang po natin ay pang isang buwan lang. So 300,000 times 1 over 12 will give us 25,000 pesos na monthly depreciation. So we will be using the entry debit depreciation expense for the automobile of 25,000 and credit accumulated depreciation for the automobile also amounting to 25,000. Okay, I hope you understand. Let's proceed to adjustment letter C. So for letter C, that is also depreciation naman ng ating office equipment, 5-year useful life, 10% ng asset cost ang ating residual value. So the original transaction for that is nung time na bumili tayo ng mga computer set na 30,000 isa, 10 yung binili, kaya yung ating office equipment ay 300,000. Okay? So our analysis on that, we will also be using the formula for depreciation. So, asset cost of 300,000 minus residual value of 30,000. Paano nga po uli nakuha yung residual value na 30,000? We just simply multiply 10% to the asset cost of 300,000. Yun po yung ating residual value. Then, the depreciable amount divided by 5 years, which is 54,000 annual depreciation. And then 54,000 times 1 over 12 will give us a monthly depreciation of 4,500. So, our adjusting entry would be debit depreciation expense office equipment 4,500, credit accumulated depreciation office equipment for 4,500. Let's proceed to adjustment letter D. Depreciation of furniture and fixtures, 5-year useful life with no residual value. Okay, so saan nanggaling yung transaction na yan? Yan yung bumili tayo ng office tables, chairs, cabinets, and sofa, 600,000 pesos. 200,000 was paid in cash and the balance on account. So, ang entry natin is a recognition of an asset and then credit ka ng cash dun sa binayad mong cash and then accounts payable dun sa utang. Okay? So, our analysis for the depreciation would still be the same. Okay? So, asset cost, diretso nating i-divide sa 5 years kasi wala siyang residual value. Okay? So, your annual depreciation is 120,000. However, again, we are just dealing with a month. So, 120,000 times 1 over 12 is 10,000 pesos monthly depreciation. So, your adjusting entry becomes debit depreciation expense, furniture and fixtures, 10,000, and then credit accumulated depreciation, furniture and fixtures, 10,000. Okay, let's continue. For adjustment letter E, 35,000 pesos worth of office supplies were used. Saan po ba galing yung transaction na yan? So, meron tayong binili na office supplies na 50,000, tapos nagbayad din tayo in advance ng rent na 150,000. Okay, so our entry that time, debit office supplies of 50,000, debit prepaid rent of 150,000, paying cash of 200,000. Okay, so our analysis on that would be, yung atin pong office supplies na unang binili ay 50,000. Ang sabi sa atin, 35,000 daw po ang nagamit na. So, ang kailangan nating i-report as office supplies expense ay 35,000. And then the remaining asset portion ng ating office supplies ay 15,000 na lang. Take note, saan po natin unang ni-record yung ating office supplies. We recorded it as an asset. Okay? So, office supplies. So, ang gagamitin natin ay asset method. At kapag ka po asset method ang ginagamit natin sa adjusting entry, we debit the expense portion of the prepayment. So, our adjusting entry would be debit office supplies expense 35,000, credit office supplies 35,000. Para yung T account natin for office supplies ay mababawasan ng 35,000, 50 minus 35, 15,000. Okay, we also have adjustment letter F. 1 month of rent was expired. Okay, so that roots from the same transaction and from the same entry. And then, ang analysis natin, syempre, ay 150,000 po yung rent natin good for 6 months. Nagamit na po natin yung isang buwan. So, 150,000 times 1 over 6 is 25,000 rent expired. Ang natira naman po nating rent na hindi pa nagagamit is 125,000. Okay? So, our adjusting entry will also be using the asset method kasi pinasok natin siya as an asset muna. Di ba? Prepaid rent muna siya. So, ang recognition natin ay yung expense portion. So, debit rent expense for 25,000 and credit prepaid rent for 25,000. So, yan po yung ating adjustment for rent. Then, let's continue. We also have earned the Japan travel service in full on April 30. Remember, meron po tayong transaction na yung mga customer natin ay nagbayad po in advance. Okay? Yung isa po ay Cebu na 4 days, 3 nights pero sa May pa po siya mangyayari. Remember po na yung ginagawa nating financial reports ay para sa April 30 lang. So, hindi pa po counted yan. Yun naman po nating Japan, sagot sa kasiyahan ay nangyari na noong April 25 to 30. So, kailangan yung mismong 63,800 for 10 persons which equals to 638,000 ma-recognize na natin as revenue. Kasi, nagawa na natin yung service at the end of the period. Nung una, ang ginawa nating entry dyan ay unearned muna syempre. Debit cash for the full amount, unearned local para dun sa Cebu, and then unearned international para dun sa Japan. Na-earn na natin yung Japan Travel Service noong April 30. Remember, una po natin siyang ni-record as liability. So, ang gagamitin po natin ay liability method. At dahil na-earn na po natin in full yung 638,000, kailangan niya na pong mapunta as a revenue account. Okay? So, our adjusting entry would be debit unearned international travel fees, 638,000. Ike-credit na po natin siya sa international travel fees earned na isang revenue account na 638,000. Ginamit po natin liability method. So, yan po yung ating 7 adjusting entries related to our example problem, landing a new travel services company. Next lesson, we will be doing a 10-column worksheet. So kung wala pa po kayo niyan at gusto nyo pong mag-practice ng worksheet, pwede po kayong bumili ng 10-column worksheet. Kahit naman po hindi isang pad, kahit pa isa-isa lang. Okay? Yan po yung yellow na columnar sheet or columnar paper na nakikita po natin sa mga accounting students, sa mga accountancy na college o di po kaya sa mga ABM students. Okay, so we will be tackling how to do a 10-column worksheet next lesson. Okay, so thank you and have a great day.